Welcome back to another Explainer. Today we're tackling a massive blind spot that's probably hiding in your infrastructure right this second. We're diving into Cloudshot GreenOps, a carbon intelligence platform, and we are talking all about the growing gap between what we spend on the cloud and the emissions that cloud actually produces.
So let's just get right to the foundational problem here. We all know your cloud bill tells you exactly what you spent, right? It's super precise, tracked in real time down to the fraction of a cent. But it completely fails to tell you what you emitted. And honestly, as global cloud adoption absolutely skyrockets, that gap is becoming a really big deal. Because behind every single workload, every storage layer, and every data transfer, there's a growing carbon footprint. Most organizations have total clarity on the financial side, but when it comes to the environmental impact, it's fragmented, it's messy, and it's completely unclear.
Well, that is exactly where Cloudshot GreenOps steps in. Think of it as a unified carbon intelligence platform built specifically for sustainable cloud operations. Instead of piecing things together across a dozen different fragmented tools, this platform brings the reality of your environmental impact into one sharp, unified focus. To close that gap, Cloudshot really nails three core capabilities. It measures your emissions accurately, it visualizes that impact so it actually makes sense, and it optimizes your infrastructure across cost, performance, and sustainability. It isn't just about collecting data, it's about actively balancing those three things to run a much smarter enterprise. But here's the catch with visualizing impact. We have to get over a massive communication hurdle first. Usually, sustainability data is just presented as raw tons of CO2. But what does that even mean to a standard engineering team? It's totally abstract. So rather than just handing you a spreadsheet full of raw tons, Cloudshot translates those emissions into tangible metrics that actually mean something in the real world. Take equivalent trees, for example. The platform takes those invisible, abstract tons of CO2 and instantly calculates the actual forest volume it would take to absorb that specific digital output over a year. Suddenly, you're not trying to wrap your head around an invisible gas. You're visualizing the actual natural resources needed to balance the scales. Or it can frame that exact same data into miles driven. We all intrinsically understand the environmental weight of a car driving thousands of miles. By putting cloud infrastructure right alongside an everyday activity like driving, the data stops being this weird abstraction and becomes super tangible for literally anyone in the business. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is context. Cloudshot is actively transforming highly technical emission data, the raw compute cycles, the server loads, into meaningful environmental interpretation. And that contextual shift is exactly what makes this data accessible to every department, not just the sustainability team. Ultimately, this translation provides numbers a CFO can actually act on, not just an engineer. Cloud sustainability is no longer just a back-end technical challenge isolated to IT. It's a core business metric. By giving this data context, financial leadership can finally make strategic, informed decisions based on environmental impact, just like they do with a traditional budget. Now, context only matters if you can track it over time, right? Cloudshot continuously monitors these emissions across your workloads, tracking them through days, weeks, and months. But hey, it's not just about time. It's also about physical geography. Using interactive regional heat maps, Cloudshot reveals exactly how your emissions are distributed across your entire global infrastructure, right down to the specific data centers. Because where those compute resources live, that matters immensely. Here's exactly why geography matters. Same workload, different region, completely different footprint. You might have a workload in Region A pulling from a local grid heavily reliant on fossil fuels. But if you shift that exact same workload to Region B, where the data center is powered by renewables, you instantly lower your footprint without changing a single line of code. And that geographical insight is a total game changer. Teams have literally used these insights to cut their workload emissions by double digits, achieved simply by shifting to lower carbon regions, with zero sacrifice to performance. It is, hands down, one of the most effective levers an organization can pull. The platform also scales perfectly in granularity. It breaks emissions down from your macro business units and service towers to show where you'll have the highest impact, and then drills straight down to application-level intelligence for the engineers. It directly surfaces the inefficient workloads and those resource-heavy services that are actually driving the bulk of your footprint. Which really brings us to a fundamental question for any modern organization. Is your sustainability just an annual reporting exercise, or is it part of your everyday cloud operations? For years, it's just been a retroactive report. But with carbon intelligence platforms like this, it becomes fully integrated into your day-to-day operations. By combining that deep carbon intelligence with operational visibility, Your teams can actively reduce emissions and continuously optimize infrastructure. Ultimately, it allows you to align your whole cloud strategy across cost, performance, and sustainability, proving once and for all that you don't have to sacrifice one to achieve the others.
So, the big takeaway today is smarter cloud operations for a more sustainable future. Think about it. If your organization is tracking every single dollar spent in the cloud, shouldn't you be tracking the environmental cost with that exact same rigor? How much of your current infrastructure is hiding a massive footprint that you could easily optimize today just by switching regions? Definitely something to chew on the next time you're reviewing that cloud bill. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this helps you build a much more sustainable architecture.